Welcome to Phazon Labs, the internet's premier Metroid Futurist podcast. I am, as always, your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder, and joining me this week is my lab partner in crime, Michael Plasma Beam Punk Brown.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a mohawk of plasma beam shots on his head.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a game where you threw your mohawk at people way back when?
I'm sure there was, but I can't think of it to save my life.
I don't remember what it is.
But I feel like it probably definitely existed.
Yeah, probably.
So.
Alex, something like that?
Maybe?
Maybe.
No, I thought he used a skateboard.
I don't remember.
Oh, well. And every week, we bang our space rocks together and we make some science, and hopefully we make a new Metroid game that you'd want to play and that we'd want to play and that we'll sadly probably never get to play, but we keep dreaming about it anyway. So let's dig in, because I posted on Twitter a couple days prior to this recording that I was super fucking pumped for this recording session, because I finally managed to figure out this idea that I've been kicking around for months. It came to me, it all clicked. And I think we may have mentioned it a couple of times, just the nugget of a thought on air. But I've been rattling this thought around my brain that I want to manage to work out an idea for a rhythm-based Metroid game, and I couldn't quite piece it together. So I'm at work the other day, and it finally clicks. I've been thinking about it all wrong. I've attached my brain to the wrong part of the idea. So instead of a rhythm game, where it's something like Cadence of Hyrule or Thumper, where it's all about, moving and attacking on the beat and following the rhythm, that instead we need a Metroid game where the entire thematic is built around audio and sound and music. And that's the way to piece this together. So, and this is probably one of the most fully formed, rounded out ideas that has really hit my brain here, because this has the story, this has, weapons and suit ideas, which, by the way, oh my god, if anybody listening to this can draw, I want to see some awesome fucking fan art, because I can picture it in my head, but I can't draw a straight line to save my life. All my stick figure people have spina bifida. But so here we go. Eons upon eons ago, there was a Chozo settlement that was comprised of 3 tribes. So 3 different sects of the Chozo. You've got the Thoha, leading into the science end of things for the species, and the Mawkins are there, the warriors, and one additional tribe that's more the spiritual side, the almost like monks of a sort, or after a fashion is the best word I've got for it at the moment. Eons upon eons ago, a great threat, a great malevolent force threatened our universe, and these 3 tribes of Chozo managed to piece together a way to drive them out of our existence. And the monk Chozo, their power was derived from song, from music, to be able to essentially sing prayer that had actual physical effect on our universe. And the Thoha took that baseline knowledge and started designing and creating weapons and armor that amplified this for the Mawkin, the warriors. And so the Mawkin, fully equipped with all this gear, went out and wiped out this force. And what they ended up using to make it all work, to actually, get rid of them, was a a piece of music that, when sung and pumped through the Thoha technology and amplified, essentially allowed them to rewrite reality, to bend it to their will, and essentially write out this force, this invading army. Now, eons later, we're here in present day with our girl, and this force has managed to rip their way back into our reality, because they weren't destroyed, but that rewrite just moved them into another plane of existence. And they finally made their way back, and they're pissed, and they're ready to come take it out on our universe again. And so they go after all that technology and all that knowledge that was left buried on this planet. And that's where we pick up. So distress is happening, and Samus is on her way to go fight the bad guys as per usual. And we land, and one of the first things that we get is a new suit upgrade, because she's going to gear up with this new tech, including armor that was made for the Machins and essentially designed around audio engineering, weaponized audio engineering. So geared out with, speakers and cones and things to actually, direct that power. As we dig in, we start getting into, the invading army that we're trying to take out, and their weapons are all just like this tribe used, because they've essentially come in and stolen all their shit. So they're throwing at her, instead of energy-based attacks, sound and audio-based attacks. And so now it's going to become a journey to find the rest of their weapons that they can, that she can use against them, and to also stop them or defend herself even. And so we've got, I'm thinking, one of the things that really jumped out at me is I want a defensive weapon, because we've never really done defensive weapons in the series before either. Everything's made weapon-wise to be offensive, and the suit, the armor, is just kind of the only defensive thing that we get. I want one called the Silencer, and it's literally like a directed projectile noise canceller. So when these sound-based attacks are being, thrown at Samus, as long as you can aim and hit them out of the air, you now have a defensive weapon. It negates that attack coming at you. One of the things that jumped out at me, just from a visual aspect, I would love to see, like, string instrument strings pulled taut across the top of the cannon. And I think, the way to go here is that her cannon's been modified as part of this initial baseline suit upgrade to, instead of, firing energy projectiles and the like, it's now essentially a sound cannon. And those string, fire off an attack with this particular weapon. She's literally plucking or strumming across these strings, and it's projecting and firing that sound weaponized out of her cannon. Some of the other ones that kind of jumped out at me, and just in terms of like upgrades and abilities and suits, I want to see the dampener suit that has some actual like sound dampener panels on it that lets her take a little more of that damage, that beating from them, and eventually to get into late game areas where there's just massive area of effect weaponry going off, where it's just huge, violent, damaging levels of sound. She gets the mute suit that literally allows her to just negate all that background noise around her so she can get in. It's essentially the audio version of the gravity suit. I want it. I feel like there's an amazing fucking suit design to be made here. But one of the other things, what was that?
Well, like, what do you mean? What do you got? Like, what do you see?
My brain thinks color scheme wise, like muted blacks and whites and grays. Like it should be the visual representation of mutedness and muting out all the color on that suit. Just a full like grayscale sick suit here. One of the other ideas that popped in my head too is that a lot of these enemies, not all, but a lot, their ability to know what's happening in their surroundings are based on sound, like an echolocation, if you will. I think one of the upgrades that was sitting in my head here called screechers. So it's a way for her to mess with and disrupt their ability to actually see, or air quotes, see where she is. When you get this upgrade, the shoulder buffs have like Chozo heads on them, and the beaks are dropped down, and from out of there, it's just a screeched, high-pitched like bird scream that's so pitched up and disruptive that it essentially blinds them temporarily, so that she can try and outmaneuver these little fuckers. I haven't managed to work out, like, some of it is just ideas as far as words, and I'm like, there's a great idea behind it that I haven't totally pieced together yet, but I'm thinking something else that could be played with here. Another defensive ability maybe that has some offensive potential would be like a reverb shield, where it allows her to literally deflect or reflect attacks back based on sound. An equalizer ability that allows her to pitch change and modulate the frequency of the blast that she's putting out through her sound cannon to affect specific enemies that are not vulnerable to any but like that specific frequency. Be a neat way to do it. And to have that actually come through in the game audio so that you can hear the difference in those shots would be a neat way to go about it. But
I'm almost picturing like from the late Soul Reaver games, where with the different Reavers attached, their sounds would change when you swung it. Okay. Until the very last version of the Spirit Reaver you got was literally just a melodic note as it flew through the air.
But yeah, that's it's a few ideas, but back into the story hook of this though. You're working your way through and picking off bosses, and you're finding as you go through the labyrinth of this now abandoned settlement from the Chozo, that throughout you're picking up individual parts and pieces of this world song that they used to stop this force way back when. And the final boss fight takes place in god damn it, the sacred amphitheater. The word amphitheater escaped my brain for a second. And once you pick off the final boss, the final suit and all the gear is literally designed to plug into the center pedestal or podium or mechanism in this amphitheater, and it blasts out this world song that allows Samus to once again rewrite these people out of our reality, put them off. But instead of taking off with this ability at the end with this knowledge, she leaves it buried on this planet and just destroys the whole planet, because having that sort of power for anyone is too damn much. There's the it negates the presence of free will for anybody to be able to rewrite reality.
Right.
But my thought though this feels key in my head is that this world song should be a massive like choir of bird song, given that it's all Chozo.
I was kind of picturing Tribute by Tenacious D.
God.
I think Jack.
It's my turn also... for once. Fuck you, I hate you.
Now you know how it feels, you piece of shit.
Oh, I know how it feels because I live with me every day of my life.
Gross.
Tell me about it. But yeah, it's it's just it finally all clicked, and the whole idea made me happy. The image of like these screamer shoulder buffs, is small Chozo heads, and that when you activated them, the beak, you could literally see the beaks drop and the scream come out of it, kind of thing. The sound cannon, the strings, you could even put like a bass kick on on the underside of the cannon for a more concussive blast. So
give the suit Mega Man-esque legs that are literally your bass, your subwoofers.
There you go. Nope. I got it.
The suit could be asymmetrical, and one of the shoulder buffs could be your subwoofer.
I got it. The legs are weaponized. I was trying to figure out what to do with this idea in my head, because like the term's there, but I'm like, I don't know how to put this into function yet. But now I've got it. Call it the Octavator, and it's literally a set of spikes that basically just shoot out downward from her legs, sink into the ground, and put out such a massive vibrational disruption that it stuns and immobilizes temporarily any enemies standing on the same grounding as her.
Okay.
The Octavator. You could totally do bass bombs. That would work.
I think they should, for enemy placement, I think that there should be a lot more of the scree enemies, the bat-like things.
Ah. Yeah, the little dive bomb fuckers.
Yeah. Maybe this, hidden away race is like a distant relative to them.
There you go. I was thinking these guys should be called the Horde of Harmony. That sat well with me in my brain the other day when I thought of it. But yeah, I think I've managed to pour out everything that was in my brain on this. But like I said, this felt very fully fleshed out. So the question is to you, what else would you like to see in here? What do you think?
Honestly, like I'm picturing. I almost think that it would be interesting if this one had a slightly more melee focus.
Mm-hmm.
And we went the DMC Devil May Cry route, where you have the ability to switch between specific weapons and or harmonies by holding shoulder buttons and switching back and forth.
I dig it.
Maybe for simplicity's sake, like certain enemies are almost out of tune with reality, and you have to focus near them using one direction or the other, and kind of refocus them just to handle them.
Mm-hmm. Literally just add in an ability called the reality tuner.
Yeah,
I could see that. Honestly, you could totally do something with a left-handed with a stylized tuning fork.
Yeah,
be a neat way to do it. So, Maybe she takes that left hand and there's a whole selection of them that pop out a la like Swiss Army knife to get the right frequency or the right note.
Mm-hmm.
She smacks it across her arm cannon to set the tuning fork off. But no, I would totally dig getting to go through a Chozo settlement like this where you can see all three of those cultures visually represented in here too. Where you've got, hallowed sacred grounds from this, from the spiritual tribe, and you've got weapons lockers and armor and everything else from the Mach-In and the labs and research areas from the Thoha. Also, I feel like this should be long enough ago that all this took place. This is back when all the Chozo still had flight. Instead of getting a double jump or a high jump, or we could even phase out the space jump here. I want to see an armored wing flight attachment for her suit that's more reminiscent of like Chozo wings, like Raven beaks, but it's all armored out in metal.
As badass as that would be, I don't think it makes sense.
I don't care. It would look fantastic.
It would look fantastic.
Because honestly, I'd be interested in taking her mobility and stripping some of the height out and putting the lean more on distance. So it would be more of a soaring glide.
Yeah.
Think a little less vertically this time. Not much, but at least a little. Put a slightly different spin on it, as it were. Call them war wings.
All right.
So, like I said, I kind of want to see a little more.
The whole melee thing.
This is true too.
Yeah.
Be another way to do it. But I mean, I'd like to see a little more visual representation of the fact that she's essentially scavenging old Chozo stuff that was made before she was around. But it's still compatible with their tech. So, which, like I said, from that, I think gives the opportunity to lean into a little more diversity in her suit designs, given that, while yes, it's still Chozo tech. One, it's old Chozo tech, and two, it was very specifically designed for a singular style of combat, which isn't terribly conventional anywhere else.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of fun that could be had with that. Like, I would totally dig if at some point, part of her suit had like a visual equalizer on it. You could see all the, the green and reds and yellows bars bouncing up and down to the surroundings. That kind of thing. Just little things. Little touches like that just string that whole thematic idea together. But yeah, that's my idea. I definitely think there has to be a heavy lean on the thought and the music for this game, considering, because I'm not gonna lie, while there's some good stuff in there, the last couple of mainline entries, just the music really felt like an afterthought, and here it needs to not be.
Agreed.
Like, it has to have some new standout stuff to it. So, well, I've poured out. You got any last thoughts on this?
I think it'd be neat if the music built to a crescendo as you uncover more parts of the of the whole, the whole story.
Yeah.
So at first, all you get is the very, the derelict sounds of the beep boops,
Right.
some of the early stuff. But as you progress, it becomes a full song.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you by any means. I wholly concur. But I think, unless there's anything else, that brings us to the part where we got to give this a title. Any suggestions on your end?
Metroid tribute.
God damn it! This is your attempted revenge for Baby's Day Out, isn't it?
No, but maybe.
I'm honestly thinking straightforward here. Metroid Warsong.
Okay.
It's got, it leans into both the warrior side, the Mockin, and the prayer and monk tribe side. It's got that right feel, I think.
Yeah, I think it works.
Well, I believe we've done it. We've successfully managed to make another banging Metroid game that we'll sadly never get to play, but we'll dream about anyway. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in this week, came and hung out with us and had a good time, and thank you to my lab partner Michael. If you dug this, then you should definitely come hit us up on all the various socials that there will be links to in the show notes, as always. But some of those include, catching us on Twitter at Phazon Labs. There's a link to our Discord. You can jump in and shoot the shit with us there. We have an awesome Twitch channel. Zoe's been streaming at least a couple times a week, and we're looking to do some more with that in the coming future as well. So keep your eyes peeled there. You can interact with us live. If you've got an awesome Metroid idea that you want to share with the rest of the universe, then hit us up on Twitter and let us know, and we'll have you on and we'll have some fun. So I think that's it for us. That's it for Phazon Labs. We are powered by the World 1-1 Podcast Network. Press start to engage your mind, and we'll see you next mission. Peace!